Game of Microphones is brought to you by CMG Podcasts.
Riding their dead horses, hunting with their packs of pale spiders big as hounds. It's your host, Sir Duncan the Fearsome, and Lady Rachel of House Fox. You're listening to Game of Microphones.
Good morrow, fallen heroes and undead abominations. I'm Lord Sterling, Sir Duncan the Fearsome.
And I'm Princess Sarah of House von Daltrin, the Shook.
What a crazy episode tonight, huh?
Yeah, I'm still in full recovery. It's going to take me probably till next episode.
90 minutes of just madness.
Yeah, that's what they promised.
They definitely delivered. How epic was that? I was not expecting Melisandre to show up right off the bat.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be one of those, like, she pops in toward the end and you're like, oh, mind blown. But she was there through the whole thing, being almost like channeling Kiki Bran.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Bran, that whole thing was crazy too, huh? All alone in the Godswood with Theon. Theon was basically John Wick for a little bit there.
Yeah, he channeled something extra in there. I don't know. I just wanted to... That whole ending part as the Night King was walking up to him felt like 3/4 of the episode, man.
Yeah, let's see. Are we getting echo? Can anybody tell me in the chat? I'm getting echo in my headphones. Not sure if it's coming over the broadcast or not.
Mine is a little choppy, but I don't hear echo.
You don't hear echo from the broadcast? Okay.
I don't think so. Let me see. Let me double check here.
I'm hearing you echo.
Sounds good.
That's what everybody else is saying? Okay. So, man, how about that opening scene, huh? You get those big battle structures, the formations outside the walls of Winterfell, and it's almost dead silent, just like a little tiny bit of music. The intensity was so insane for that whole opening scene.
So many great aerial views and just a great idea of how everything was set up for the battle and everything was really great.
Yeah, totally. It was just crazy. I don't even know what to say. The whole thing was just so nuts.
Well, I had my list going of all the people that died. How many were on your list? All the main guys.
We lost Jorah at the end there, which I was kind of expecting. I'm surprised Tyrion lived. I was kind of freaking out when he went out to fight inside of the crypts down there. that was nuts.
Well, they kind of almost made it seem like everyone was about to die. Like the whole time I was like, anyone can go at any second right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone had a moment. I want to say Ed was like our first one. Ed was our first big loss.
Oh, yeah, same
That's
here.
Where I started being like, oh, okay.
Okay, I got rid of the echo in my ear now, so I'm like, I can think again. Yeah, I think Ed, you're right. Ed was the first big one that we lost, and that was sort of telegraphed too. He was just kind of standing there over Sam after he saved him and just left himself open to be killed.
I know.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh, God. And then I think the G one, of course, was Lady Lyanna, little Lady Lyanna.
Oh, my God. How about that?
Went out like a
took out
G.
a giant. That was unbelievable.
It
was cool that she got to do something major, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you watch the after show, the inside the episode?
No, I didn't have time.
They're talking about how she was supposed to be like a one one scene kind of character. And then when they met the girl, they were
She's
like,
just too
oh,
good. We got
no,
to keep her.
she's something special. Yeah. And she was like, he's like, you wish you could give everyone this big, beautiful death, but she was the one that was deserving of it.
Oh, man.
But
Lady
yeah.
Lyanna. What a badass. It sucks so bad that we lost her, though, but at least she got to go out in like a major way. Like that was super, super epic.
Oh, yeah. She was going out and then, yeah, I'm in it.
Totally. Totally.
And did you think Beric was
that
gonna come
my
back
Hound
somehow?
resurrection theory is kind of shot to shit at this point, huh? With Beric being dead. I thought it was a cool theory though.
I was waiting
Rest
for
in peace, Repp.
It was. I really thought like if it was gonna happen,
especially
this is
too.
the
They were
moment.
like hanging out together the whole episode. I was like, oh man, like I really think that we might get it, but that it just didn't happen.
I was thinking it could. He was freaking out about the fire, and it felt like it was foreshadowing something along
definitely.
those lines. But
the fire and everything, that was crazy. It was like a flashback to the Blackwater Bay when he saw all the fire and freaked out and had to vacate the battlefield. And oh my God, just everything that happened after that. They happened to see Arya up there, and the Hound was like, oh, and he like went to go find her and help her. And it made me think of a couple episodes ago when Arya asked him if he'd ever fought. When was the last time he fought for anybody besides himself, right? And here he was like, I fought for you, didn't I? Right? And here he did it again. Oh man, I thought I was worried we were gonna at least lose him temporarily, but nope, Beric bit it. Technically, we don't know if he's still dead because Melisandre could have revived him, and we just didn't see it. Right? But she said his purpose was complete. True. So
at Game of Thrones, we don't accept it until we see bodies burn.
I wonder how many people when Melisandre said to Arya, "What do we say to the god of death?" And she was like, "Not today." Oh my God, Melisandre is Serial Pharrell.
Oh right.
Yeah, that was pretty cool though. It was intense when Melisandre came riding up and she asks him if he can speak Dothraki, right? And tells him to have the Dothraki raise their blades to the sky, and she lights them all on fire. I was not expecting that. And that was a great device to let us know just how brutal the battle was without us actually seeing it, as one by one, all those flames were extinguished when they rushed into battle. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get any giant ice spiders. Ice spiders, big as hounds.
It's all right. They're in my mind. They were there in my imagination.
I thought for a second we got them, but I guess not. Like when the Dothraki rode up into combat, and the fire hit the line of the undead. I thought there was like something huge like lurking over the top of them there, but I guess not. What happened to Ghost? Ghost was there when the battle started, and then we just never saw him again.
I lost your sound there.
Yeah, what happened to Ghost?
I think you said Ghost. I know. I wrote Ghost like a bunch of times.
Right.
I have Ghost.
He rode into battle
mark,
with Jorah Mormont.
Like, I wanted him to come out.
Which was so cool, right? And then just disappeared, unfortunately. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I think I lost you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear? I lost
the
my
guy
sound.
ATX says he liked it. I think he liked Arya's kill, lurking up and killing the Night King. That was pretty intense, man. The way she killed the Night King, sort of reversing the move that she did with Brienne, with the dagger toss.
I lost sound. I don't
we'll be
have
right
any
back.
sound. I'm sorry.
We're live.
And we're live again.
Woo!
Gonna have to mute some redundant audio sources here.
Right, let me refresh.
Go.
Trying to get the YouTube pulled up.
Johnny, welcome.
Good.
What's up, everybody? We got Lady Stitches here from the Luminescent Isle.
Oh yeah, welcome to the show, Lady Stitches. Such a pleasure to have you with us. Okay, I think we're in business now.
Yay, I can hear you.
Let us know in the chat if it seems to be working.
Let's see.
I go back and read all the stuff that everyone was saying.
Yeah, I was trying to keep up with some of it, but then I was like, man, I'm just sitting here typing on YouTube on Facebook, and I don't have the YouTube pulled up. I was like, oh.
Yeah, sorry for all the confusion out there, guys. Got some malfunctioning equipment over here.
All right.
I think it's working. Andrew Blake says it should have been John. He was brought back for a purpose. If it's not to kill the Night King, then it was a waste. Yeah, how surprising was that it ended up being Arya that took down the Night King? What'd you think about that, Johnny and Amy?
Oh, man. That was just, when you just saw like the little wisp of one of the lieutenant's hairs flare, I was like, what's coming? And then, just no way of seeing that coming. That was...
No.
I feel like she's the only one that could have pulled off, like, oh, she's dropping the knife and then catch it in the other hand. Like, she was the only character that could have pulled that off.
That was so sick, and it totally mirrored her original whole thing with Brienne, that fight that she had and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which makes it even better.
That's freaking epic. That's right. Like, whenever...
They got back to Winterfell.
Yeah, that's right. And it says, was it the same blade too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same blade. Yep, and that's the blade that Bran gave her. So it's fitting that she used it to save him.
All right,
right
so
at that desperate moment, right?
So where did Bran go? Where did Bran go?
Good question. I was wondering what he was doing.
I'll be back.
He's just taking a joyride in some ravens for a little bit, cruising around.
Hey, Theon. Go charge that guy. Okay.
Theon was epic, man. He was like Tony Jaa in The Protector, that last end scene where he destroys like 100 guys in hand-to-hand combat to try to save his elephant, and there's just the whole place is just littered with bodies just everywhere. That's what it was like with Theon there at the end. He just massacred so many dudes.
And they give you that brief hope that, like, oh, is he okay?
Yeah.
Because they pan back to him, like giving his last breath. But I'm like, oh, he's gonna live.
I know. Like,
I mean, I guess technically he still could. I don't know. I mean, it's Game of Thrones.
How did Arya get in there? She bypassed all those whites and everything.
Yeah, I guess she jumped out of the tower that they were out by the fireplace and like ran across, I guess, the tops of the Godwood. I mean, that'd be a cool helicopter or drone shot just to see her.
Totally.
But she was so quiet, man. They already set you up for that in that library scene, like how easily she was just as quiet as blood dripping on the floor. I mean, that was just crazy.
I was like Splinter Cell. She's using inanimate objects to like divert attention by tossing them across the room. I was having flashbacks to creeping through the streets.
Made me think of Jurassic Park when the kids are in the kitchen and the velociraptors are running around.
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
Exactly, and it sounded like one of the whites went like, yeah, like almost like doing the. I was like, what are they, velociraptors now? And then Amy's like, oh, it's that scene from freaking Jurassic Park. I'm like,
there was a lot of references to movie scenes in this. There was that scene from The Last Jedi also too, where they're in the AT-AT blasting Luke Skywalker with all the lasers.
Well, it's double parallel on that scene. So you have all the blasting on the Night King from the Dragonfire, and you also have Melisandre walking out in the robe amongst like the overcoming odds right in front of her. So there's 2 points where they reference the same scene from Last Jedi. That was
epic. Awesome. That's pretty wild. Melisandre, what,
dude? MVP of the episode goes to Melisandre, man.
This is the red woman,
most valuable player. Who saw that coming?
Not me. She just came in out of nowhere, dude. Oh my God.
And
what
with
a
fire,
shock.
she brought the fire, man.
Yeah.
She's like, it's not just me, it's Valyrian fire with my
right. Oh
magic.
my God.
Dude, was there
crazy
just a moment you guys thought like she's holding on to that piece of wood? It's like it's not gonna happen because she already lit the sword. It's like something's just gonna go.
Yeah. The whole time, dude. The whole time I was thinking
voice was all shaking, panicking. Ooh.
Yeah. She started like getting really like agitated.
Eyes were darting back and forth.
And that's what Beric had said, or what's his face? Thoros had said also that he was only able to successfully revive Beric in like a moment of desperation.
Yeah.
When he came back and said the words and it happened. So as she started getting more and more desperate there, finally at the end, her voice was starting to crack. And
Same thing with Jon. She was just like, "Oh God, I got to do this." Like,
right.
She's desperate. Jeff Allen says most valuable priestess.
Good
awesome. There's so much that happened, man. It was like the best episode of TV I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was fucking epic.
How about speaking of things that are just so fucking epic from this episode, Viserion just going into berserker mode.
Yeah.
And they're just just going crazy, and flames like shooting out from his neck and like all the places where he's torn.
Is that his natural state when the freaking Night King's not controlling him? It just like sets him on autopilot, like, all right, kill mode.
Yeah, I guess so.
Go play.
Well, the Night King does control all of them, doesn't he?
But he seems so concentrated in that moment on Bran. It's like, is he still going, spin around? All right, catch that gun on fire. Just kind of. Which I wonder how much the whites actually work with that kind of stuff too. Like, because we know from previous episodes that certain whites controlled certain legions of the undead, and that kind of thing. So I'm wondering, is there a moment where he can be like, here, take over the dragon? I got to work on this.
Yeah, I was surprised that all the other White Walkers broke to pieces when the Night King was killed too, because they were theoretically alive when they were turned, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I wouldn't think that the necromancy would. Yeah, I didn't think that the necromancy would be powering all of them. So that was really surprising to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
What was it? One of the other. There's so much shit, but okay. So I'm still trying to figure out Bran, man. That's like racking my brain, as you can tell. Like all those ravens like coat the back of the dragon and like kind of fly like around him, and then it just cuts away from that. And it's like, what is he just like grabbing like? Because I mean, can he see the future or just the past?
I don't know.
Exactly.
We saw in one of his visions, we saw a dragon flying over King's Landing, but we don't know if that was the future or the past or what.
Right.
But the things he does, like giving Arya the knife and keeping Jaime safe, it seems like he knows or has like an intuition of needing these things to happen. It's almost like he's setting things in motion. I don't know if he knows.
It's a vision, but doesn't know how they're going to pan out.
Right.
Maybe, yeah. Because he gave Arya that dagger specifically, and then she used it to save his life. In the chat, Chance Susan says Arya should have shot the Night King with a bow and arrow over Bran like she did in episode 1.
Oh, that would have been
cool. Comes out that would have been cool.
That's Chance. That's badass. Yeah, that would have been cool. The other thing, fucking, like, what? Ghost, man, and the Hound, both of them felt so underutilized in this episode. I was just like, man, just like they like made Sandor for like this big wimp.
I'm just hoping that that the Ghost is still alive.
Yeah, well, he got his big legs back though. he was in proportion. He's still not no Grey Wind, but I mean.
Oh my God.
But I was a little disappointed in that, man. That Sandor was just like, I thought when Beric's like, what about her? And he like there was going to be this momentous scene, and then it just cuts to him, like, I mean, there's still some fighting and him helping, but really Beric's the freaking hero in that scene, Not the Hound.
That was a
I'm
crazy scene
panicked.
running through the corridors of Winterfell. Like we never really saw the interior of Winterfell very much in this series at all. And all of a sudden we're running around through all these corridors and the library and everything. It was amazing. It was really cool.
Winterfell's gonna be like micro Harrenhal. You're gonna have like this piece of it. It's gonna be like melted by dragon fire, like remind everybody what happened there in the future. It's fucking awesome, dude. It just so epic. And I think a lot of the Hound stuff is it's going to be setting up like Arya being like maybe even saying that we still have 3 episodes left. Like what conflict's coming with the Mountain and these kind of things that she's just going to basically like, you need to face your freaking cowardice, man. You like ran, or, that kind of thing. We saw you hiding, or people know you hid. Like, or where were you when we needed you? That kind of thing. And then he just stayed in there with the Red Woman. Like,
right. Arya goes running and he doesn't go to help her or anything like that.
Well, see, and I thought that's what we were going to see was going to be something like after she kills the Night King, I was like, oh, cool. We're going to see some like way like the Hound like followed her that we didn't see off camera to help this scene happen. And then when he just walks out with Melisandre, I'm like, what the hell? Really? He's the Hound. What are we doing? There's got to be something that's coming in this show that we don't know.
Yeah.
And this has got to lead up to it because he's just too momentous of a character to be underutilized
all of a
like
sudden,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
well, what about Gendry with the hammer, man?
Oh man, just going ape shit all over the place with that hammer, huh?
That was epic.
What about the crypts? What about all the whites coming out of the crypts and everything?
We called that, huh? Dumbest idea ever. Varys was like, well, at least we're already in the crypt. Varys at the beginning, I was like, no, that's not a good thing. You don't want to be where there's already dead people that can rise.
I thought, I'm sorry. I really thought for a second there when Tyrion and Sansa were right by that crypt that he was, when they had their little heartwarming moment where he kissed the hand, he's going to be like, who's in this one?
I did too. I really was wondering who was
like Ned's hand
there.
pop out. Oh, this is Dad. We're good.
God. Yeah. They had a little touching moment there talking about being married. That was pretty funny, huh?
Everybody, as we've chipped them again in the past, but I think if there's any way to like do that now, it's definitely surviving this together. They have mad respect for each other, big time now.
Big time, totally. Yeah, I wasn't expecting them to be so candid with each other. Like she's like, you were the best of them, right? And he was like, whoa, like wasn't expecting you to say that.
Yeah, that was so warming, man. And such a cold episode.
Yeah. Derek Pacheco says, do you not feel underwhelmed at all? Really? 5 seconds of Ghost? Arya somehow knowing how to use Valyrian steel on the spot the Night King was created right in his chest. Not one of the Night King's White Walkers.
I just thought she stabbed him.
I thought it was like in the gut.
I was like, okay, but all right.
Whatever she could find.
He's got some good points. We didn't see any White Walkers fighting. That would have been cool. We didn't, I was surprised that so many people lived in this episode.
Well, here's the thing. They still did an amazing job of building up insurmountable odds, and it's almost, there's no way, maybe that's why you feel a little underwhelmed, because there's really no way to call what was going to happen there. In that moment, right when the Night King's reaching for Bran, what do you think was going to happen? How is this going to go down? Is this it? Are we done? Now it's just Battle of
flying
Cersei
through the background with the blade.
Yeah.
My mind was racing.
I'm completely enthralled with the way they wrote this. I'm just so ready to watch it again.
I know.
We'll go and get microphones and talk. As soon as it's done, we're going to go watch it again.
Me too. I'm going to go watch it again too. Go ahead, lady. Princess Sarah.
The way they paced it was great too. It grew and grew and grew and grew. And my heart was like faster and faster and faster.
And then they're falling back farther and farther and farther, until they had no place else to fall back. And then when they had fallen back as far as they could, the dead were coming from inside as well, like from the crypts. Oh my God. That was nuts. That was so crazy.
Well, and it could have went down that way. The way they had all those scenes, like with the hammer, and you're seeing those shots of Pod, and then Brienne, Phasma, like all, freaking up against the wall. And it's like, if it all goes down right now, at least they're going to be able to cut back and show their dead bodies on it. And it would have been complete. like you would have saw their moments of right when they got down, and you would have been able to have the scenes of the aftermath of like the whites and the Night King walking past all that, and it would have been like, oh shit.
Yeah, because there were sometimes I was like, don't pan away from them. What happened to them?
And yeah, exactly. And I think that's the show has done such a great job of setting us up for Lost that I guess the underwhelmed feeling would be like, man, because I was feeling it early in the episode too. Like, okay, I love Dolores Ed, but I mean, really, how many scenes have we spent with him versus like Tyrion? And so when he died, I was like, that sucks. But then we kept clocking in time, and I'm like, all they're doing is killing red shirts and like background characters. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take away from Lyanna Stark. That was freaking epic.
Yeah.
I mean, epic. I mean, just you could heard the crunch, and I think that's the other thing is when the Night King grabs Arya and that sound effect. I was like, oh man. Even though she stabbed him, her neck just got crushed. Like I thought in my head, I'm like, she just sacrificed herself. I
was like, did she die?
And they set you up with that just like, 15 scenes ago with freaking with Lyanna Mormont. And now the Mormont, like you said, the Mormont line's gone. I mean, as far as like the heads of the house.
Damn, good point.
Fucking epic, man. It's still Game of Thrones, everybody. We still got 3 episodes.
Last episode.
And I think that's what they're wanting. Like the fandom has got like a collective sigh for a moment. Like Sansa's still alive, Tyrion's still alive, the Hound's still alive, Arya, Bran, Jon, Daenerys. Okay. All right, man. No, there's still 3 episodes left.
That's the thing is that even if you are underwhelmed, there's still 3 episodes left. This is only the 3rd episode. There's so much more to come.
Yeah. How crazy is that? How crazy.
It's not enough, but it's still more.
Oh my God. There's so many good things about this episode. I don't even know where to start.
Of Larkham, the Dothraki are destroyed. I mean, Cersei right now, when she gets all this news, is just gonna be like, "Oh man,
the
like
guy ATX says so many people lived because they still need to have people to kill in the boss stage."
Yes, exactly. Totally, and I mean, now I was telling Amy, it's like what, like the Rebel Alliance versus like the Empire we got now going on. We got like this fragmented force going up against the Golden Company and Cersei. I mean, this is. So gonna be so good, man.
I know, right? Oh my God.
Alicia Stout says Jorah's death scene was absolutely beautiful, and when Drogon hugged them, I completely lost it.
God, yeah,
just that was around them.
He curled himself right around, and it's sad Drogon. I was like, so good, because he knew Jorah too for all those years.
Yeah.
So Calvin Cook brings up a good point. Did Rhaegal die?
Yeah.
Rhaegal. I don't think.
When Jon got.
Yeah, when Jon got, I mean, the way that whole scene was shot, it's like, okay, which one crashed? Which one? Okay, we haven't seen the Night King's dragon in a little bit. Maybe his is the one that. Nope, there it is. Okay, well, where's Rhaegal?
So see, I was thinking that the one that the Night King was riding was the one that got bit because the fire was coming out of his neck, but I'm not sure. Like it was so hard.
You gotta watch it again.
At the end, we know that we got. The main one, and that's it. I mean, where's
where's the other one?
Yeah,
Drogon's got to be hurt, man. I thought he was done for. I thought he was.
At least it's not walking Deadpools, or he'd be screwed right now.
Lord Brandon of House Ushery Hill says, "My only beef is the dragon fight wasn't as epic as I thought." It was pretty epic, though.
What about that other How to Train Your Dragon scene that we had in this episode, where they got way up into the clouds where you saw the stars and they were just kind of frozen for
I wrote that down too. That was so amazing.
Cool. I was like, man, the internet's gonna tear this apart with memes.
Oh yeah.
Or when the white cold started rolling in the first place and the dragons were just like engulfed in the mist, and Daenerys and Jon were holding on for dear life as their dragons were like being tossed through the storm. And Rhaegal like couldn't see where he was going and crashed into all those trees. Oh man, I hope Rhaegal's all right. He could be critically wounded, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that was freaking just so. I mean, I thought Jon was like, I'm like, man, they're gonna like damage him and he's not gonna be able to fight or something. They're like, how is he surviving this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Anthony Chiodo says he went back and watched the scene. He doesn't think that Rhaegal died. I don't think either. The guy ATX says Rhaegal, something about Rhaegal is spoiled and coming up on. We're not going to talk about that on the show.
No, next
don't
week
watch
on.
those. Yeah.
I did, but I'm not gonna. I mean, it was on while I was trying to finish a script for Sirenicide.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I heard it. I heard
But,
Cersei. I think
yeah.
it was it.
But yeah.
Joey Poole says HBO needs to change their darkness settings because he couldn't see shit.
Oh, so yeah, we
It was
turned off
dark.
every light in the house, and when we first started watching it, it was still daylight in Texas, and our curtains to like where the sun was setting coming through. I'm like, oh my god, I can't see shit.
I know.
I had to do the
barely
same
any
thing.
light. You did too, Princess Sarah?
Yeah, I had to close all the blinds because you just can't see anything. There's too much. I'm in California, so it was like light the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Maybe because it's been dark all season long. That's a good one. J Pool 3 on YouTube. Maybe we couldn't see because it's been dark all season long. It has been a dark season. That's for sure. Like even when they're in the crypts, other than like the torchlight, like right by their faces, you can barely see anything else in frame.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's supposed to be, I guess, a dark season. Maybe that's just the theme. You know, I'm sure none of that's by accident.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see how it
Definitely not by
ends.
accident.
Really thought we were gonna get to see Ned Stark as an undead.
Oh yeah, too. We didn't get Hodor either. I was hoping for Hodor.
Oh, in the library
yeah,
scene,
that's
they faked
right.
us out. Did anybody else catch that?
What?
So there's this part when I know, of course, I've only seen it once, but there's a part when she comes around like, oh, Hodor's gonna be there, and then there's like this walker that almost looks like it's in a shirt and tie. I mean, it was like it had like slacks on and a white shirt. It was weird looking, and it's between the bookshelves. But then when she like creeps to the side, you see this bigger one off in the distance. So I'm like, oh, is that him? And then it didn't go there. I was like, that would have been the perfect scene because I mean, what would have paralyzed her more than that for a second?
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Damn,
So-
yeah. Arya running through Winterfell was crazy. Like, the Hound has given up, and Barrack's like, she hasn't given up, and points at Arya, who just like dives off the edge of one of the battlements and sliding down the roof. And all these whites are just like scrambling all over, falling after her and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so epic. What an episode. The whole time, I think more than anything else, I just kept saying, oh my God, the whole time, like as things just kept accelerating and accelerating.
Alicia Stout says, I thought the giant could have been 1-1.
Oh man, that would have been wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but that would, I mean, didn't she kill the giant before the Night King raised the dead? That was actually at the battle that happened before. Yeah, because we see her awaken when he does that, Lyanna. So, and 1-1 wasn't 1-1 is that the one that was killed by Ramsay?
Battle of Bastards.
Yeah.
So I'm sure at this point he's been buried somewheres by it. So I guess when he started raising all the things in the crypts, depending on what they did with 1-1's corpse in that moment, I'm sure it started stirring somewhere, and we just didn't get to see it.
Speaking of being buried, Lady Sarah of House Larkham asks, will Theon be buried at Winterfell, or will he have an Iron Island burial?
Just cut him in half.
Go have Oh man, yeah. It was.
I mean, at least not laterally, vertically. That way.
Oh, geez.
That was
Sorry.
pretty sad seeing Theon die this episode. I was surprised to feel, like he had done so much good and really redeemed himself. It was touching that Bran told him he was a good person.
Well, I
before.
mean, and that was writers telling the audience he's a good person.
He's good now.
He's a good guy now.
We
Okay,
like
all right.
him now.
Still Theon.
Heather
Still
Jameson
jumped off
says,
the boat.
anyone else shell shocked? Oh yeah.
Yes, all of us.
I was gonna wear my hound helm, but it was just too bulky and it was like kind of uncomfortable. Oh man, what a craziness. Michael Tarr says, is there a connection to be made that Melisandre thought Stannis Baratheon was the prince/princess that was promised, but it ended up being the newest addition to the Baratheons, Arya Baratheon? Ooh. Yeah, if she marries Gendry, she would be a Baratheon at that point, huh? Dude, let's talk about that. The prince that was promised. So apparently that whole legend is bullshit. Like, Arya is not a prince or a princess, right? But she's the one that took down the Night King. So Like there's no significance to a prince or princess that was promised in relation to the Long Night and the White Walkers at all.
Is Melisandre some kind of like prophet seer? I mean, what was that stare at? Like, I'm like, Jesus, we're gonna waste the whole episode with her staring at Arya. Like, now it makes sense. I was like, okay, something's gonna happen with these two.
They were at that cave with the Brotherhood Without Banners, and Mel was like saying all that stuff to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Well, that was good that they threw it back to that with the eyes and everything. You'll kill, what did she say? You'll shut many eyes, brown, green, blue. They did a great job poetically by kind of bringing stuff back in. Arya with the blade switch, the hand switch. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So good. That final move by Arya again, bringing back that whole Brienne fight was so good. Yeah. And I thought she was like dying and just dropping the blade because she was going limp. You know, she just kind of lets it out of her hand and it drops and falls and right into her other hand.
That sound effect, man. I can't wait to rewatch it because they do some Foley art like right when he catches her, and it just sounds like a crunch. I don't know. It's supposed to be because his fingers are icy. Because when he turns and looks at John earlier in the episode, you hear that like spindly like like ice is in his veins kind of thing. It's epic. I love the Foley art in this episode. The blood drops on that wood. Like those guys got so much money.
Foley art for Game of Thrones. That'd be such a cool job.
Oh, hell yes. I would love to do that.
I thought Danny was done for too.
I did
for a second.
Yeah, I did too.
I really thought that was going to be the big.
Yeah, she lands to save John and just like the whites just start climbing all over Drogon. What the hell? Why was Drogon sitting there for that long?
Yeah, I was like, why are you lingering? Go. Like
go. Before.
Yeah, go. Go. That was crazy. I don't know what is going on with Open Broadcaster software. I'm not even touching the computer and the Windows sizes keep changing on the screen. I have to fix it like every few seconds.
Just like Facebook's wigging on me on the chat. I'm trying to see it, and each time I go to look at someone's comment in the chat, like it goes, nope, bloop. You know, here's these other 4 ones. I'm like, I was trying to read that one. Because the last time I had it where I could just scroll and have the window off to the side. Yeah, it's
Jason Boucher says, it seems to be too cliche to me that the Night King just wanted an endless night. Yeah, for a story that's hailed as having no characters that are just black and white and, you know, how giving everything different shades of gray, the Night King seemed pretty black and white to me.
I don't know, man, because he did smile there for a little bit in this episode.
I wrote that down. He smirked.
Yeah.
There's something
that was
in there.
Freaking epic, man. It's just like there's some darkness that was really going like conscious thought of like satisfaction, and that's to me that gives some context to a character that that we really don't know anything about other than that. But that was some emotion.
Yeah. You know? So when Sansa goes down to the crypts, people had been speculating that she might go down there and give a rousing motivational speech and help make the people happy, kind of like she did at King's Landing during the Battle of Blackwater when she started singing that song and sort of raised the spirits of the people hiding out in the Red Keep. That did not happen at all. She's basically did the total opposite. She's like, if you're here, you're basically worthless for the fight. There's nothing we can do. The opposite of empowering. It's kind of funny. I was surprised.
And the Hound gets his participation trophy.
Yeah.
Yes, the Hound did live. I saw a few people asking that in the chats. Yeah. The Hound's alive.
Robert Misiavej says, disappointed we never heard them speak. Yeah, that would have been interesting if the Night King or some of the White Walkers had...
I thought we were going to get it when he looked at John for a moment like, what now, bitch?
Yeah. That part was so epic, too. He raises his hands like, come at me, Crow, again. Yeah. And John's just running to him as they're all rising around him.
Recognized it before.
Yeah, from Hard Helm. I mean, he's like, oh, God, I know what's about to happen.
Yeah, he's like, oh, faster. I know what's happening here.
Tap into your inner Forrest Gump. Get him.
Forrest. Run, Forrest.
Oh, man. What a freaking episode, man.
Yeah. I was shocked when there was our first, the mid-air collision at the start, too, when Drogon and Rhaegal were riding through the mist, and Dany and Jon were on their backs, and they crashed.
Hit each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we were trying to. I was like, is that the Night Kings or is that theirs? Like trying to figure that out because of the way it was
thought
shot.
the Night King at first too, like attacking, but then they started flying in tandem with each other, and I was like, oh man, they just mid-air collision. Lucky that Jon or Dany didn't fall off. The Night King took quite a tumble towards the end there, falling right off of Sarion, and like he kind of looked like Bran, or Jaime sinking through the water, falling from the tower. Bran backwards. That was pretty funny. IBN Kathy is wondering what happened to Ghost, and she's saying that the Hound just stayed in the castle after Arya ran out. Yeah, bitch made.
Yeah, participation trophy. That's it.
Jason Boucher is congratulating me for saying his name correctly. Thank you. I've seen the Water Boy, Bobby Boucher. Maybe.
Ivy and Kathy on YouTube also says, when the Night King raised, I was yelling, "You damn cheater! You're cheating!"
You're cheating.
That's pretty good.
Oh my God, that was so crazy. And IBN Kathy's saying, how do you fall off a dragon and get up like nothing happened? The Night King, I'm assuming there, or maybe it was Jon. John was pulling off as well.
I could see like the Night King just snapping his arm back, like right. Well.
Like all those.
But John just got plot armor. He's good.
Night King also got dragon fired and
for now
was fine. Like that's when he was yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good point. Dragon
You're
fire.
cute.
What would you all have done, like Duncan was saying earlier, if the Night King just would have went?
Yeah.
That would have been so great.
Man, yeah, the plan was shot to shit with that white cold. I thought it was really cool that we got to see the white cold that we heard about in books, that when the White Walkers come, that it just gets freezing. It's so cold that like the air itself becomes like visible,
And they don't make it visible at first. I mean, that's obviously what takes the Dothraki right out. They ride like right into it, but at that point it's still black until you get to see it later. And I thought also for a moment there, like right there at the end before Arya, came out of nowhere, I thought that Bran was almost going to like warg into the undead dragon, and Jon was going to mount him, and they were going to blast the Night King with the blue fire, and that was going to be like what takes them out.
I had that same thought.
I was like,
Brandon Ushery Hill says, Arya with the 37-foot buzzer beater for the win.
That's pretty good.
Ben Hamad Rashid says, fuck. I think he's freaking out.
That's about right.
Yeah.
So good.
Jel Costello says, Dany is officially a dummy. Yeah, that was pretty. I was surprised that she let herself
She was flying around forever. Like, I feel like she was just flying around for a million years.
Yeah, I've never obviously been to war. I got like 16 staples in my sternum, but I played paintball a lot. And but in the heat of things like that, I mean, she's battle hardened from like leading like the Unsullied and the Dothraki and like tactically planning things when everything goes the exact opposite, where you can't see the flare, like, hey, you're supposed to light the trench. All that stuff starts happening each time, you're doing something, and each time stuff starts fucking up, it's like you just start to panic more and more and more, and you start becoming less of someone that can keep that together. So I think for all of that, like everything going the opposite way it was supposed to, I think she did all right.
I don't think she's ever even used a wepen. I think that was the first time we've seen her with a weapon in her hand, too.
Yeah.
She took the initiative. She did better than the Hound.
Oh, poor Sandor, man.
Or Ghost. Two of the fan favorites. They didn't get no fan service in this episode. They got the opposite.
We got all excited at the start. Like, we see Ghost lined up for battle.
Yeah.
We thought there was going to be like a lot of Ghost action, and then we got nothing.
I thought we were going to see more like undead animals too, like like some bears, and that kind of stuff again.
That would have been cool. They bust through the door of mammoths, like undead mammoths and stuff, and ice spiders. Man, that's the biggest bummer, I think, of the whole thing.
Yeah. The spiders, the mammoths, freaking. I thought it would have been. I don't know. I guess does he have to do that ritual to raise them up? Because I really thought it was gonna be cool, like if Barrack turned into a white, like right when she said blue eyes, and he's like,
oh, awesome. Yeah, that was cool.
I guess they don't. I guess he has to intentionally bring them back, which is kind of cool. So, again, I guess we're kind of. I am jaded by like The Walking Dead. At least, like, no, that thing just died. Get away from it. It's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the whole time
yeah,
he's all like,
right.
burn him.
Yeah, what makes the dead rise? Because in the first season, we got those two undead guys that came into Castle Black and tried to kill Jeor Mormont, right? And they seem to like sort of randomly reanimate. I don't know how, like, the Night King wasn't there like telling them to rise or anything like that, as far as we know. So
I have a theory. I mean, again, it's just a theory. I think like those lieutenants have some sort of like necromance magic over different domains, and like say in the very first episode, even like if something dies in that area, it's like, hey, I got a new cell. Activate. Like there's some kind of like, because it's such a vast land up there, that, and he's got those. It's got to have something to do with like why he needs Craster's babies or some kind of magic. Because I mean, if it was just as like autopilot easy that something died and seconds later it comes right back, that'd make more sense. But we know from Hardhelm and this battle that it doesn't work like that. There's got to be some kind of activation process to bring them back from the dead. And I don't feel like, I mean, even as powerful as the Night King is, then those blonde White Walkers wouldn't matter. There's got to be something to those dudes behind him, like to help him do this.
right.
I mean, obviously he's the big bad. He rides the dragon. He's got the grand plan. But I feel like I mean, what was that one episode where we saw them drop all of the army, and then there was just the one like that didn't die when they were doing the scouting mission or whatever?
Yeah, beyond the wall.
That's
Beyond the
perfect.
wall.
So it just feels, it feels like at that point one of the undead strayed from one of the lieutenant's territories into somebody else's or something like that, and got mixed in with all of them. And I mean, of course it was for the plot and the story, and I get you can look at it like that, but from not looking at it like that, I feel like there's some kind of like tendrils that these lieutenants have over the dead as well, like just like the main Night King kind of thing. That's always been like, so I mean, if one of them's on the ball and isn't the lazy one, he's like, oh crap, all right, raise all them up, let's go. The other one's like, oh, we'll get in a minute, dude, we're winning, shit.
Yeah. Katrina Pedigo says the Night King made her think of endless levels of video games. They conquered level 1. Now it's time for level 2. Cersei is the big mega boss at the end. Is that the deal?
Well,
I wonder how she's gonna go out now, because I mean, after the wave, like this, all these pieces came together to kill the Night King. It's like, you're gonna have to top that now, HBO. Have fun. Good job. I mean, you gotta get your work cut out for you, right?
Amanda Leclerc is wondering, what did Bran do with all the ravens? I know, right? And Valerie Weir says Melisandre is her new hero.
Oh yeah, dude. She talk about redemption. I mean, and then she just gave herself away at the end of it. I mean, at that point, I mean, obviously Davos, I think, was going to kill her no matter what for Shireen. So.
Yeah, he was hunting her down the whole time.
I mean, I was saying, it's like, get her. Oh, okay, cool. She's doing it herself. Sweet.
No point in killing me, he said. She said, I'll be dead before the morning anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, in that moment, I think he thought, oh, she's lying to me. There she is trying to escape. Not on my watch. I got you.
Right, totally.
I love how shocked he was about how well Arya can fight.
Oh,
like, there's that moment that he was just like, oh shit.
And she looks up like, you gonna do something?
Never mind.
I got my Darth Maul spear here. I'm good. Thank you.
Classic.
So does that mean Varys is gonna die next? Since Melisandre, remember they had that conversation on the cliff?
Oh,
she's gonna die in that strange
both
land.
die in the strange land. Oh.
Yeah. Dude, how crazy was
that's one down.
Melisandre's death, too? Yeah. And speaking of that one down, she walks out of that room with the hound, starts stripping layer by layer, takes off the necklace and throws it in the ground. And then just like Davos, as Davos is watching as she just, the mirage disappears, the glamour fades away. And we can see her like white whispery hair flowing in the breeze, kind of, as she just.
And then her robe drops, and it was going to cut back to Davos's face, and he was going to be like,
like
"Oh, we just saw what they saw a few seasons ago. Fuck this."
Don't go into room 237.
The shining, yes.
Stay far away.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, I just loved that whole Viserion thing where he lands in the courtyard of Winterfell and he's just berserking and
Yes,
trashing it and shooting blue fire. Yeah, freaking out. And John is just narrowly escaping death over and over, hiding in, like, coming through these doors, and the flames are just blasting all around him. It was so
blasting
cool,
out of his wound too. That was fucking
They're
cool. Like the
great,
fire was
yeah.
coming up his neck where he'd been bit.
Calvin Cook says there's a scene in the first episode this season where Cersei stands in front of a candelabra and looks like she's on fire. Foreshadowing?
I hope so.
Nice.
Michael Tarr says, I think they should execute Cersei by beheading. Justice for Ned. Hashtag justice for Ned.
And then burn the corpse.
Yeah.
Keep burning the corpses just in case.
Burn her as they're cutting the head off. That way she feels the pain in her extremities, and then they take her head off.
Oh man.
Sorry.
You can tell he does horror writing.
I'm a horror writer.
Katrina Pedigo says, if Sir Brienne doesn't knight Arya, that'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Nah, she's an assassin, man. She's not a knight.
Yeah, she's above that, I think.
What if we see her next week and she's got like a big fucking bruise all around her throat? That'd be so badass.
Yeah.
Alicia Stouts lost the volume and can no longer hear us. I think it's just you, Alicia. I think it's just your device, potentially.
Can you hear us? Type in the chat if you
Yeah,
can
if
hear.
you can hear us, let us know. Joel Erickson just joined on Facebook. Welcome, Joel. Welcome to the show.
Good. Man, what else? The setup. Like, I was sitting there when we kept going back into the castle. I was just like, oh man, I'm so glad they gave us a break. And then the way they cut to the shots of the dragons is like, oh, here comes this part, and then we go to that. At first, like a takeaway, but then after you got the rhythm of because they stayed true to that editing, like all the way up to the end to Arya, like they had this perfect flow of like, okay, here are the 5 spots of this battle, and we're gonna flow between them, and it was beautifully written, man. I'm so proud of this episode.
Man, what an amazing episode.
Just, I mean, in the last 2, you walk away kind of like, okay, all right, we're set up, man. That was full throttle. Like everything was perfectly led to it. And I thought for a moment we were gonna get fucking John, like right before they get on the dragons at the beginning, being like, you could have the throne. I don't care. Let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so glad they didn't do that, because I really thought for a moment there was like this, what are they about to say to each other? Is he about to give her like it's fine?
And then the swords light up.
Right.
Oh my God. Dude, that was so crazy.
We almost got away with not losing Jorah too. Like the last freaking
Lane
close,
Wiener, I was-
I know,
last.
so close. He just kept getting stabbed over and over and over.
Yeah, you see the one stab, and then it's like they're saying, "No, he did." Like,
Stabbed in the back, stabbed in the front. One time,
Yeah,
Danny
I'm
like
like,
used
"All
him
right,
as a
you guys."
human shield and like
Oh,
pulled him around.
yeah.
I was like, did she really just
I missed
turn
that.
him?
She just like turned him in front of her. I'm like, what? Really? I got the rewatch.
She totally did. She dragged him right in the path of a blade to
So
save
you would
herself.
die for me.
Prove it.
it's your moment.
Yeah, that
One
was
more mark
fucked.
on everybody hating Danny this season on the internet. She used Jorah as
Oh.
a shield.
Yeah, totally.
She's the worst.
There was some tension with him and with John and Danny too when they were up on that little peak
Oh yeah.
before entering battle. I
That's
don't
what
remember
I was-
exactly what you're talking
That's
about.
what I was talking about. That's the scene where I thought he was just gonna like break it with, "Hey,
Oh, right.
Good. You have the throne. I'm good. Just let's do
Yeah.
this." Because just feel that tension. I'm like, what's about to happen right now? Is she about to like shove him off the mountain or something?
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah,
Date
my
night.
bad. Yeah, I think I was distracted by technical difficulties when you were talking about that.
Yeah, man, that was like from the get go. I'm like, man, I hope they don't like find some point in this battle for him to like have blood all over him and be like, I don't care. You can
Yeah.
have the
Robert Misyevich says, edge of my seat the whole time. Didn't really feel as long as it was. I looked up at 39 after, about 39 minutes of the show, and I was like, damn, that was the fastest 39 minutes ever. Like, it was just going so fast. Even though, like, it kind of started off sort of slow and really quiet, and we're getting all these shots, these really calm shots showing us the whole structure of the formations of the armies and everything like that. But it I don't know, like when it started, it like really just started.
Yeah, but it gave you those things that you didn't really get. I mean, we got to see like little pieces of dragon glass on the battlements and those big like D-Day spikes like in the other episodes, but you didn't get to look at them like you got to in the opening of this episode. So you got all the eye candy that they had just been kind of alluding to in the last 2 episodes, like, oh wow, there it is in its place, and that's right there, and that's how the catapults are going to work. Okay, cool. It's not just on a table laid out; you get to see it. So the setup was just so good. It's like, again, like D-Day, like when you see the boats riding in, it's like that moment, like, oh, it's about to go down. This is awesome.
Definitely. I loved that part with all those flaming arcs and swords that the Dothraki had just going out one by one in the distance.
I told her, like, right when she lit them, I go, watch, they're going to get, like, right over there and just going to see all those lights go out. And then, like, 5 minutes later,
don't the Dothraki, like, not trust, like, witch magic and that kind of stuff? I was like, what would they do if he would just, like, no, put that in the snow. Like,
no. You keep your magic, witch. I'm good.
That's hilarious.
So what were they just going to just chop them up and then, like, they were just going to crawl as half skeletons? Because they didn't look like their stuff was made of the dragon glass.
It didn't.
When it looked like just regular steel or iron or whatever.
Yeah, it looked like the typical Erics that they've always wielded.
So I was like, well, what was the plan before she lit these guys up? Were they just gonna like just cannon fodder, just like right out there and like we'll chop one zombie into 4 zombies?
Yeah, apparently.
Because we saw in another episode, like the hand will still try to get you, even if it doesn't have something controlling it. So
right, yeah, that was cool. I like that part.
Sarah Larkham says, do you think that Winterfell will be rebuilt?
Good question. Viserion did blow a huge hole in it, at least one, when he was riding through there at one point. He swoops down and just blasts one of those towers to smithereens. I was like, shit, good thing that wasn't the one that Arya and the Hound were in.
Right.
You know, shit. Rip whoever was in that tower. Yeah, I think that they'll rebuild Winterfell.
Definitely, I do too.
Yes, that's Sansa's jam, man. That's her everything.
Jam.
I was a little disappointed that we didn't see her do something. I thought when she pulled out the knife.
She did a great thing. She sat there, she pissed off my Sunday, like right off the bat, like, I'm in the room.
Don't talk about my queen.
Yeah. That's some attitude.
Oh man, it was so great. Like, I mean, that was one of those moments. I'm like, why did she just say that right now? Look at where they're at. I mean, I know she doesn't care, and she's got like her Cersei brain going on, but I was just like, why would you do that? You know, some of the people in here are like her friends. I mean, Missandei's gonna be like, you know what she said about you while we were in the crypts? Get this.
I'm about that petty life. So.
Kill that bitch. She got red hair. Just set her on fire.
Yeah.
She's gonna stab you, Danny.
Lord Derek of House Pacheco says, Beric, there's another way. You kill him, you kill them all. Jon, you don't understand. With how easily the Night King died, what was the purpose of Jon saying that line to Beric? This episode proved it was as easy as Valyrian steel to take him out. Yeah. Good question. Yeah.
So it could have been any Valyrian steel? Did Arya was she not the important piece of the puzzle or something? Like, why was Melisandre so, like, eyeballing her immediately? Like, she knew that she was the one that was going to do it, pretty much.
Yeah, maybe she must have seen her in the flames so long ago.
Like she was like, are you going to do this? Here,
right. Blue eyes.
Oh.
Gotcha. Would we say to death?
Not Syrio? You're a woman?
Yeah. If Night King is like representative of death, then she got the message pretty quick though, because she beelined it straight for the Godswood after that. How crazy was that, using Bran as bait out there?
Dude, that was messed up.
It wasn't even Bran. It was like Ward Bran. He wasn't even present.
Yeah, true. Lady Christie of House June says, I think Jon meant that it wasn't that easy to get to the Night King.
Ah.
Maybe. That's entirely possible. It definitely is not easy to get to the Night King. that part, man, I couldn't believe that Last Jedi moment where Danny Dracarys the Night King, and it just does nothing, man.
Right.
Nothing.
What?
So crazy.
That was the other take. That was probably my only letdown. I was like, come on, John, say it. Oh, I was waiting for John to be like, Dracarys.
Yeah, dude, that would have been so cool.
That would have been epic. So I'm hoping that's going to happen later in the season.
LJ Bailey says Littlefinger's dagger killed the Night King. Yeah, interesting. One good thing Littlefinger ever did, putting that dagger into play.
Yep. Yes.
You know what I'm saying, Amy.
That's hard to say.
I know, right?
It's like doesn't feel right coming out of your mouth.
That was one piece on the chessboard that Littlefinger put in motion, you know.
Oh my God! What if like Littlefinger's corpse would have been around, like all throat slit?
All
right, we get to kill him again. Woo!
Yeah. Watch, we get down to King's Landing in episode or 2, and Baelish is revealed as still being alive. You know, Rachel would love that.
I know, that's Rachel's jam right there.
Yeah.
Hello, Sansa. Yeah, that would.
Jel Costello says Bran knows the future. That's why he wasn't worried. Just tell us, Bran. Tell us what happens.
It seems like he knew the way he turned to Theon and everything. It was like he was saying goodbye, like he was like, thank you for everything, and then
that was crazy too. Theon was like, you know, I wish that I hadn't done the things that I did, and sort of the way that Bran had affirmed that it's all right with Jaime, saying, you know, if you hadn't pushed me, you'd still be that shitty person. He basically says the same thing to Theon, right? Like everything he did, all those bad things he did, they brought you here, where you belong, home.
Where you belong,
home. You know,
now go
those
die.
Die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to charge him. Like they were walking that way. Like
why couldn't he be like, just hide over there? Arya's about to come right there. You'll be safe. Now go die. Go die.
Yeah.
I thought
we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, they sort of look at each other, and I thought Bran was gonna be like, thank you. You know, he said, thank you. You're a good person. Thank you. And then Theon took that as turn and fight for me, you know, like,
yes.
I was thinking that Bran was going to be like you're free to go. You know,
Run.
Bran was going to be like,
at this point.
That's not what I meant, but I only have so many words, so fuck it. Bran's not the Night King.
No.
So that theory's gone.
Yeah, true. That unless he killed his future self.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's like some Philip K. Dick level shit there.
That would be like hilarious.
The man who remembered the future, Philip K. Dick.
Freaking imagine how pissed off everybody would be. You think like the ending of Dexter made everybody mad? No spoilers, but freaking imagine like Littlefinger's alive, the Night King's still Bran, end the show. What did I just watch?
Yeah.
I could have written it better than that.
Yeah.
Sarah Larkham says, I know it would have been cliche, but Jorah should have said to Dany, I love you, before he died.
Yeah. That would have been cool, man.
I wanted to hear him say Khaleesi one more time.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Khaleesi.
Yeah. Forever friend zoned.
How about good luck? I wish you good fortune, cousin.
Michael Tarr.
That didn't work.
Yeah, Michael Tarr says, was Bran seriously just crow watching YH3 the whole time?
Exactly. Yes.
Or did he do some past tinkering that we didn't see yet? Like, what was he doing? He came back to Theon before, like, Theon was seemingly killed, right? So, you know, the second he popped back into Bran and like was talking with Theon again, I was like, oh shit, he he must have completed whatever mission he was doing, but we don't even know what he was doing. What was he doing?
He's like, he really still is like a kid, and he just doesn't want to tell anybody, I want to go watch the battle.
Yeah.
It's like, I just really love flying, guys.
I could see all the angles with my webcam birds.
Yeah, the three-eyed raven says you won't walk, but you will fly. So I was just making the most of it and flying as much as possible before I died, you know?
I was absorbing the battle for archive purposes, not for enjoyment.
For archive purposes. Oh, there was one really sad moment where the battle is raging and everything looks super hopeless and desperate at Winterfell, and it's cutting to all these people, like Jaime getting knocked down by Whites and Bran, like, ah! then it cuts to Sam, and he was just crying.
The bodies.
Just all alone. That was so
man.
brutal. I was like, oh man, Sam.
So we were wondering, the little girl that got drugged in the crypts at first, was that the same scarred face girl? But then we see her later in the episode, and she's just like next to Varys, like, "Hi, I'm here."
Oh yeah.
We thought, on the rewatch, I want to like, because she still has blood on her when she's next to Varys. Like, oh, did somebody save her? Or
oh man, I missed that. It was that was really intense too. That moment in the crypts where Tyrion and Sansa pull out their blades and decide to make a move. And they run around from around the back of that crypt and hop into the next little alcove. And Varys is sitting there with all the children and women and everything, just totally helpless. And
I'm recruiting new birds.
Always working. Always working. Oh, he just seemed so helpless and hopeless that I don't know. It just really hit me. I was like, damn, like, is Varys gonna die in the crypt here? Like, geez. It was so nuts.
It was
I
a
gotta
really
watch
good...
that whole crypt scene again. Sorry.
Okay. It was a really good scene with Tyrion where he turns the corner and then it goes to Jon.
Oh yeah,
like,
because they turn from the crypt and then it goes right into the courtyard.
So when him and Sansa turn, and then it goes straight to Jon turning around the corner too.
The freaking editing in this episode like deserves so many awards. It was done so well.
God, the raging level of the battle too. Like if we thought that the Battle of the Bastards was chaotic with just all this stuff happening, the beginning of the battle this time was so insane. It was so dark, like you could hardly see anything. It was just like a malaise, like just a mash of just craziness, just like motion everywhere as just like the edges of all you could see is like the edges of these bodies just interlacing and just. Man, it was nuts.
Well, the way they edited it was that you didn't get too much of it. They had so many things spliced in between these big, huge, like crazy fights, and then they go back to the crypts when Sansa and Tyrion are talking, or they go to Davos staring at whoever he's staring at. Stuff all day. But they spiced it up really good.
Davos, a lot of staring.
It was. You're staring all episode.
She's like near Bran level staring. That's hard to match, though.
Yeah.
Katrina Pedigo says Tyrion and Sansa scene had me swelling up with tears. Yeah, that was a nice little moment between the two of them. I like that one. Jel Costello says, I thought Arya gave the blade to Sansa. How'd she get it again? Or did she just give her a dragon glass? Yeah, I think she gave her a dragon glass dagger. That's what I had thought.
I think that too.
Initially.
So did we get an episode name yet?
Good question. There must be one, but I have not heard it yet.
I know everybody's still calling it the Battle of Winterfell all over online.
It can't be called that because episode 1 was called Winterfell, right? So it has to be called something else. Let's see. Looking it up right now on IMDb. Pulling it up. 73 episodes. Season 8.
I just see it come up on HBO, and I'm like, click.
Yeah, same here. Right, yeah, just say into my remote control, HBO, until it takes me there. There's no title yet on IMDb. I have not.
Wow. I wonder if it's on HBO. If it's on HBO Go yet.
Maybe.
Live, coming at you live. We're gonna find out. Investigating live. Watch the comments like, just look, we've said it 10 times.
Oh yeah.
The dagger that finished
the long
Night King
is what it's called. Somebody put in the comments the long night, but I don't. Jesse Camacho, is that right? Put the long night.
Katrina Pedigo said the long night too. Maybe that was it.
There you go.
Maybe. It was a pretty, long night. It ended. It must have been horrible for anybody that was there. Katrina says, check the Twitter sphere. The long night, Laura Gillespie says.
It's a long night. I don't know if that's
going to show
up on that. Yeah, on the HBO Go app. Winterfell, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, The Long Night.
Damn.
I like it.
I wonder if, that's what George R.R. Martin wanted to name the spin-off too, right? So I wonder now that that name is being used for an episode of Game of Thrones, does that mean it's off the table for the spin-off title?
Well, is that the prequel spin-off or or a sequel spin-off?
It's that one that already
That was really
greenlit and are
cool.
shooting the pilot for. It takes place during the original Long Night.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's probably just a callback thing for this then.
Who knows? Matthew Repp says maybe there really was something special about that dagger aside from just being Valyrian steel. It was in the book in the Citadel. That's right.
Yeah.
Wonder, man. Wonder.
Ah!
Valyrian steel.
Nice.
Oh, look, it's got Night King gel on it.
Yeah, I got blood still on it.
Take some hair gel.
Night
What?
King tastes delicious.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was a legendary episode. Longest consecutive battle sequence in cinematic history, apparently, right? So it's got that going for it.
Yep.
Dude,
Did Arya use her weapon? She didn't have her weapon yet, did she? The one that Gendry made for her?
she was using that.
Did she?
When she was first fighting the whites on the battlements or in the corridors.
That's the Darth Maul looking blade thing she has.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like a dragon glass spear type thing.
Yeah.
She was using that for a while for sure.
That's the one that knocked the stupid out of Davos's.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And she lost it when she had to go off the roof.
Right.
Yeah.
Right right before the hound goes right. Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Tarr points out the dagger meant to kill the three-eyed raven, in the first season, ends up being used to kill the guy about to kill the three-eyed raven.
Whoa, Inception.
Yeah, totally. IBN Kathy says Davos survives everything, has been in the worst battles, and yet is still alive.
Mm.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
With no training.
Been through.
Right.
Not a fighter.
He's not a fighter. His ship exploded in the Battle of Blackwater Bay. He leads the charge to follow up Jon in the Battle of the Bastards, and after Rickon gets killed.
Well, since Stannis burned his daughter alive, I guess he's the greatest contribution that Stannis helped make.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's so true.
Because he would just be out on the ocean still, like, raiding.
Yeah.
Well, no, he'd probably be dead because somebody else would have caught him that wasn't as merciful. Yeah.
Sarah Ann Hargett just joined the chat. Welcome to the chat, Sarah. Welcome to the show. Sorry I didn't get to include your feedback for the last episode.
Later, Derek.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Derek. Sorry you didn't like the
to
episode that much. Sorry you felt let down. It sucks. Madison Merrick says they said no one could kill the Night King, and no one did. I thought that was
that's great.
Fuck yeah, no one rules.
Can protect me. No one can do this. Arya's like, I can't be in all these places all the time.
Yeah, no one can protect any of us.
Still have my list.
I'm gonna bring some of my nobody friends over here to help out.
That's funny because what did Sansa say? No one can protect me. No one can protect any of us. No one can protect anyone. And basically, name anyone that's still alive, and no one did protect anyone.
Yep.
Right? So,
it's a language nightmare.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh.
Oh, crazy. Some of those dragon battles I thought were really cool. Like when they finally did end up fighting with the Night King on Viserion's back and they're all clashing and the jaws are just gnashing and ripping each other's throats and everything. And then the Night King, then Viserion just like pulls his wings in and just dive bombs straight downwards.
Yeah.
That was so cool, man. And then oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I saw that lady Sarah of House Dust Bunny said she was late. Is Ghost dead? We don't know.
Hey, lady Sarah. Yeah, we don't know. Hopefully Ghost isn't dead. He was criminally underutilized, that's for sure.
He's probably just out there like licking his balls on the battlefield while it's going on. Like he's been doing for the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, Jorah ran back to the crew after all the Dothraki were taken out, narrowly escaping.
Like, Jorah, how did you make it back? I followed the White Wolf.
Yeah.
Give him some sort of credit. Even though we didn't see it. He led me out of the darkness.
Ghost better not.
They wouldn't do it like that. They wouldn't do us like that. They know everybody wants Ghost. They wouldn't off-camera death on him.
We could sell more Ghost plush toys if they would just give us more Ghost.
Yeah. Imagine next episode we're like walking through the fields of corpses and they just discover Ghost's red-stained body.
Oh no, I don't want to imagine that.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I
I
mean,
want to see Ghost rip the throat of Cersei out. That would be epic.
Oh,
I feel like if Ghost was alive, he would have helped Jon when Jon was out there facing off the Night King alone. You know, like, where is Ghost? There is no explanation for the fact that he was not there.
Ghost is pissed because Jon has a dragon now. He's like, oh, who am I? What am I now?
I guess I'll hang out here with Jorah. Fuck this, I'm leaving. They like went forward, he went that way. I'm gonna go hang out with Nymeria in the woods. Screw this.
It's the second direwolf that's been like shunned away from being with their owner.
Did Gendry survive, Valerie Ware? I would assume that all the people in those scenes they showed like
Jamie and
they showed a few of them from the scene. I don't remember them panning in on Gendry specifically at the end, but he was right there with them swinging the hammer, and that was the whole point of the epic buildup in the editing was just, here's these scenes, it's insurmountable, they're done, there's no way they're going to be able to do this unless something happens right now. All these fools are dead and something happened, so I guess we assume he lived.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless they killed him off screen. Oh yeah, Gendry ate it too, no more Baratheons.
Normally we wouldn't spoil anything from future episodes, but here's something that I think that will help bring people comfort. It just disappeared. Someone says that we saw a Ghost in the previews for next week.
Oh, I didn't really pay attention that much to it.
I watched it.
I heard it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I don't watch that, but I feel happier knowing that. So if we see Ghost, I feel
he'll have his little legs back next episode, and have his big legs back.
Little Ghost.
The CG guy is not on point.
That was so funny with his little legs.
How'd you fuck that up, Bill? I don't know.
One job. 4 legs, one job.
Yeah.
Kathy says, Direwolf Pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta see that.
Bow.
Man, like, I'm surprised they didn't show up during this episode. I really thought that like all the stops were going to be pulled. We were going to get like all kinds of giants and all kinds of mammoths and just like the Direwolf Pack, or Nymeria leading the Wolf Pack. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff about this episode, a lot of stuff we didn't get to, but overall, fantastic episode, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the stuff that we felt like, okay, so we don't got our ice spiders, our mammoths, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen? I mean, obviously, Azor Ahai, Bran being the Night King, all these different things have just been chunked out the window. So, like, what are we going to get in the next 3 episodes? So I feel like there's going to be something there. It's not going to be like 2. I hope it's not going to be like, all right, well, here's 2 more setup episodes, and now the finale of the series finale. So I'm hoping like maybe next
2 more setup episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
All of season 8 is just like 2/3 setup episodes.
Exactly.
God, don't say that.
I don't know what the runtime is of the next one, but if it's an hour, it's probably a setup episode.
I think
the rest of them are
here out, right?
Yeah, the rest of them are all like 70 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Over an hour.
Lady Sarah of House Hargett says, did anyone else get a little weepy when Tyrion kissed Sansa's hand?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was such an awesing moment. I thought
the acting was just,
the chemistry was on point. It was not a freaking Natalie Portman moment at all.
You referencing Star Wars here?
Yes. Clone Wars.
Michael Tarr says no ice spiders or undead Hodor either. White Hodor. Yeah, that was they dropped the ball on that one, man. Having Hodor bust into Winterfell and like bitch slap Arya would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I was surprised when that undead giant we saw. That was the undead giant that we saw in that one opening scene where it starts off with a vision that Bran's having of the undead army coming south, and it zooms in
into his eye.
Oh,
it was that
shit.
giant. I recognized like the undead pattern of his face. That was so cool.
I know Game of Thrones loves killing little girls, but God, that was an epic death.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Nailed it.
She really went out in style. Like that was
like
so.
She's gonna have a freaking statue on Bear Island, real quick. A giant killer, Lyanna Mormont. Like David versus Goliath thing going on, man.
Yeah.
Epic.
Well, Tormund said he killed a giant when he was 10, right? So did she just outdo Tormund? How old is she? And does
think,
undead giant, is that even harder to kill than a regular giant? Like,
I think Tormund drinks a lot of malarkey.
Yeah.
I think he's a bar talker, you know, like put a few down on him and he's like, yeah, I killed a giant. Well, no one saw it. It happened.
The giant was already dead. He just went up and stabbed it as a 10-year-old boy.
I did that.
Yeah.
Brandon Ushery Hill posted a great meme. It was like a picture of Tormund with the giant's milk, and it was referencing the Chappelle show where he only drinks the finest of the Cambodian immigrant breast milk. You know, the skit where he's puffy and keeps threatening to shut down the record label. Tormund like only drinks the finest giant's milks. You know.
That's funny. Oh man. Well, guys, I think we're gonna have to call it on our side. But
all right. Anything else you want to add, Sarah, or should we call it too?
I think we're calling it.
Yeah,
I get my little one to bed.
I think we need to cover, right? Thank you so much to everybody for joining us tonight. Princess Sarah of House Von Daltron, great to have you back on the show. Archmaester Stitches and Archmaestress Stitches. Are you an Arch?
Yeah, there we go. There's no women in the Citadel. No women and children.
Oh man, you must have broken some vows, Johnny. Just saying.
He's following in Sam's footsteps.
Strong female characters.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening tonight. This is episode 113 live. Great to be here with you guys. Thanks for putting up with our little bit of technical difficulties that we've been encountering. And really glad to be here with you guys. Another big thank you to our guests, Princess Sarah, Archmaester and Archmaestress Stitches.
And everybody in the comments, give it up for your host, Duncan. Busting out. Give it up for your host, Duncan, and all this, man. This is a lot of work to freaking arrange and put together, and you do such a good job of it, dude.
Well, thanks. I try, you know. It's been stressful trying to deal with all these technical difficulties that we've been dealing with. Like, the show was going fine, and then all of a sudden, Open Broadcaster Studio started eating audio from Skype, so now I'm Skyping through a different computer that's connected to my other computer going through OBS. It's madness. But,
what he's saying is whatever it takes, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Another huge thank you.
Live.
Yeah, fuck it, we'll do it live.
And the deep dive's coming, man. I'm excited.
Right. I wanted to mention too, this week our deep dive will be featuring one of the survivors, hopefully, of this battle, a wildling that we saw actually towards the beginning of the episode while everybody was lined up in formation. John Fay will be joining us. He spent 55 days shooting this fight, and he's going to have all kinds of fun behind-the-scenes stories, interactions with the main cast members, and how it all was to put together and everything like that. So really excited to have John Fay on. I did see him at the beginning of this episode too. I was like, oh, there he is, you know.
Yeah.
It was like one shot where it showed like it cut to wildlings standing there just waiting before the battle started, and he was on the left side of the screen, stage right.
All I got to say to you, Duncan, is good luck on setting up your top fives for this one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus fucking fuck. Yeah. It's gonna be pretty brutal.
It's gonna be all notes.
Thanks again, everybody, for being here. Another thank you to John Bailey, the epic voice guy, for announcing our show. And if you guys want to support us, you can go to gamewithmicrophones.com, click on our link to Amazon. We earn from qualifying purchases. You can also go to patreon.com/GOM podcast, I think, and paypal.me/GOM podcast.
Donate.
We want to thank our Patreon supporters, Sir Matthew of House Repp, Lady Lucy of House Roberts, Lady Candace of House Tews, Lady Teri of House Theodore, Lord Jeff of House Allen, Sirenicide, Lord John of House Grilz, Lord Luke, the Low Duke, Tarot Spirit, Robert Misiavage, thank you for your support as well. Lord Bryson of House Wolf, thank you so much to everybody who's supported us. And also, definitely make sure to check out Sirenicide. Yeah. That's Johnny Stitch's serialized horror drama podcast, featuring me as Mayor of Morston, Texas, Malik Husto. Next episode, we'll have our deep dive. And then we'll be back again live for episode 4 next weekend. It's going to be insane. Who even knows what it's going to be about?
Epic setup.
Seriously, like where are they gonna go?
Well, I thought we were going to lose Winterfell, and Winterfell is not lost,
I
surprisingly.
got a prediction. Cersei's gonna drink wine.
Where'd you pull that out?
I don't know. I'm just a prophet.
If you guys for a deep dive, you can always hit us up at 813-563-3739. That's 813-JOFFREY. Yeah, we haven't had any phone calls in a while, so you can call 813-JOFFREY or even send us a voicemail via email or whatever at ravens@gameofmicrophones.com. We're always happy to play your voice messages on air as well. And check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/GOM podcast. Thanks for everybody watching there tonight. Also, youtube.com/gameofmicrophones. Thank you to everybody who's watching on YouTube tonight. We just got a comment on YouTube. Elijah B says, can you please pray for my friend? He has a rare condition that makes his bones brittle and recently broke his neck and he's in a coma. His name is Nick Grilz. Can you shout him out? Loves your channel. Nick, we're sending you the best wishes, my friend. Hopefully you pull through.
Nick.
You're in our thoughts.
All of our good vibes.
Yes.
Thank you for letting us know, Elijah. Appreciate that. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, Gab and Minds at GOM Podcast. And we're on Tumblr at Game of Microphones. Thanks again to everybody for listening and to our amazing co-hosts. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Great to have you with us. That's our show.
Bye.